Good morning to all of you. Myself Dr. Priyanka Gaikwad, and I am going to take your biochemistry subject lectures. So start with the first lecture, that is introduction to the biochemistry. In this lecture we will see the definition and basic terminologies of biochemistry subjects. Before going to see the definition of biochemistry, we'll see the definition of anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is the study of structural organization of the body, and physiology is the study of function of each and every organ. The subject biochemistry, it integrates both these aspects. It describes the structure and function of living things in their molecular and cellular terms. So each and every organism for their survival requires energy. Every organism obtain their energy by cellular respirations. Both plants and animal, they perform cellular respirations. Cellular respiration is a chemical process that harvests energy from organic molecules, and this process takes place in the mitochondria. The byproduct of cellular respiration is carbon dioxide and water. This carbon dioxide and water are used in photosynthesis, and plant produces glucose and oxygen. These products are utilized by transfer to the electron transport chain, and again their oxidative phosphorylation occurs, and byproduct is formed, that is carbon dioxide and water. This cycle is goes on. Now coming to the percentage of essential elements in the body. Essential elements are the elements required for the growth and development of the body, but they do not synthesize in the body. They need to supply from the diet. Essential elements are major elements, minor elements, and trace element. Major elements involves hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. The percentage of these major elements is around 96%. Minor elements involve sodium, potassium, chloride, etc. The percentage of minor elements are 0.7%, and trace elements like iron, manganese, and selenium, their percentage are 0.01%. These essential elements are required for the proper growth and development of the body. Now coming to the major biomolecules and or macromolecules. There are four biomolecules, that is carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. The percentage of carbohydrates in the body is 1.5%. They are classified into monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. The monomeric unit of carbohydrate is monosaccharide. Mono means single, saccharide means sugar. Second one is lipid. Percentage of lipid in the body is 14%, and they are classified into triglyceride, phospholipids, and steroids. Triglycerol made up of 3 fatty acid plus glycerol, phospholipid made up of fatty acid plus glycerol plus phosphate plus nitrogenous base, and steroids contain cyclopentano perhydrophenanthine ring. Third micromolecules is protein. Percentage of protein is 17%. The monomeric unit of protein is amino acid. These amino acids are joined together by peptide linkage. Fourth one is nucleic acid. They are classified into DNA and RNA. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA means riboxynucleic acid. DNA contain 4 bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. In case of RNA, the sugar is replaced by ribose sugar instead of deoxy, and uracil is replacing thymine. So this is about essential element and major macromolecules of body. Now coming to the cell, its structure and function. There are two type of cells: prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. We'll see the difference between these two cells in next slide. So this is the schematic diagram of eukaryotic cells, showing the internal subcellular organelle. We'll see the function of each and every organelle one by one. Okay. First start with the nucleus. Nucleus is the largest cellular organelle surrounded by a double membrane nuclear envelope. It contains DNA, which is the repository of genetic information, which carry genetic information to the next generation. The nucleus of eukaryotic cell contains a dense body known as nucleolus. It is rich in RNA. The ground material of the nucleus is known as nucleoplasm. It is rich in enzymes such as DNA polymerase and RNA polymerase. Both these enzymes required for the transcription and translation process. The next organelle is a mitochondria. Mito means thread and chondria means granules. It is a Greek word. Mitochondria are the center for the cellular respiration and energy metabolism. They are regarded as the powerhouse of the cells. Mitochondria are made up of a double membrane system. The component of electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylations are present in the inner mitochondrial membrane, and where ATP is generated. The generated ATP in the mitochondria is exported to all parts of the cell to provide energy for the cellular work. Now coming to the third organelle, that is the endoplasmic reticulum. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, it is the network of membrane enclosed space that extends throughout the cytoplasm. A large portion of the endoplasmic reticulum is studded with the ribosome to give a granular appearance, which is reflected as a rough endoplasmic reticulum. On this rough endoplasmic reticulum, protein synthesis takes place. Next one is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which does not contain ribosomes, and it is involved in the synthesis of lipids. Okay. Next organelle is a Golgi body or Golgi apparatus, where sorting and packaging of the newly synthesized proteins occur. Golgi apparatus catalyzes the addition of carbohydrate and lipid moiety to the proteins. These chemical modifications are necessary for the transport of protein across the plasma membrane. Next one is a lysosome. Lysosomes are spherical vesicles enveloped by a single membrane. They are actively involved in digestion of cellular substances, namely proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and nucleic acid. Next organelle is peroxisome. Peroxisomes, also known as microbodies, these are single membrane cellular organelle. They contain the enzyme catalase. Catalase protect the cell from the toxic effect of hydrogen peroxide by converting it to the water and oxygen. Another important function of the peroxisome is they are involved in the oxidation of long chain fatty acid. Long chain fatty acid means the fatty acid which contain more than 18 carbon atoms. Seventh organelle is cytosol and cytoskeleton. The cellular matrix collectively referred as a cytosol. It is basically a compartment containing several enzymes, metabolites, and salt in an aqueous gel-like medium called cytoplasm. This cytoplasm contains a complex network of protein filaments that is called cytoskeleton. Example of cytoskeletons are microtubules, actin filament, and intermediate filament. These filaments are responsible for the structure and shape of the cell. So this is all about eukaryotic cells, their organelle and functions. We'll see the difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells means before formation of the nucleus. Okay, these cells are very minute in size, 1 to 10 micrometer in size. Nuclear region not surrounded by a nuclear membrane. Single chromosomes present. Nucleolus absent. Membrane bound cell organelle like mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulums are absent, cell divided by the fission or budding. In case of eukaryotic cells, this cell is fairly large in size, that is 10 to 100 micron nanometer in size. Nuclear material is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. More than one chromosome present, nucleolus present, membrane bound cell organelles are present, and cell division occur by mitosis or meiosis. Now coming to the composition of the plasma membrane or cell membrane. These plasma membranes are made up of double layer of lipid molecule containing proteins which are embedded in lipid double layer. The major membrane lipids are phospholipids. These are amphipathic molecules containing hydrophilic means polar or water loving and hydrophobic means non-polar or water hating groups. The cell membrane also contain equal amount of proteins. All these phospholipids, cholesterols are responsible for the fluidity of the membrane. Next component is protein. Protein in the membrane occur in two different way, or they are categorized into two groups. Some proteins are located in the interior of the membrane and are called integral membrane proteins. They are tightly attached to the lipid bilayer and they cannot be easily separated. Other are located in the outer surface of the membrane and are known as peripheral membrane protein. They are loosely attached to the lipid bilayer and they can be easily separated from the plasma membrane. These transmembrane proteins serve as a channels, carriers, pumps and receptor for the transport of the ions, molecules and macromolecules. Third component is carbohydrate. These are present on the extracellular surface and they are known as a glycocalyx. These glycocalyx act as a barrier between cell and its surrounding. Okay. Now coming to the fluid mosaic model. The cell membrane or plasma membrane is also called fluid mosaic model. This model of the cell membrane was proposed by Singer and Nicholson in 1972. The biological membrane have thickness of about 5 to 8 nanometer. This membrane is composed of lipid bilayer. As I already told you, this membrane is made up of lipid bilayer. The hydrophobic region of the lipid face each other at the core of the bilayer, while the hydrophilic region face outward. Globular proteins are irregularly embedded in the lipid bilayer. These proteins are categorized into two groups, that is peripheral protein and integral proteins. Okay, this is the schematic presentation of the lipid bilayer or fluid mosaic model. The phospholipids, head of these phospholipids is hydrophilic and they are facing outside, and tail is hydrophobic and these tails are facing towards the core of the lipid bilayer. The lipid and protein subunit of the membrane gives an appearance of mosaic or a ceramic tiles. Unlike a fixed ceramic tiles, the membrane freely changes, hence the structure is known as a fluid mosaic model. Now coming to the function of the cell membrane. The main function of the cell membrane or plasma membranes are transport across the biological membrane. There are four types of transport: active transport, passive transport, carrier transport and vesicular transport. Now first one is a passive transport. Here in case of passive transport, substances move across the cell membrane without any energy expenditure by the cell. It includes diffusion and osmosis process. Diffusion depends on the concentration gradient of the particular substances across the cell membrane. Example is water and gases, transport of water and gases in the body. Next one is a facilitated diffusion. The solute means the substances being dissolved moves along the concentration gradient and no energy is needed, but they require carrier protein or transport protein for their transport is known as a facilitated diffusion. Second is the osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of the solvent. Solvent means the dissolving medium. Is the movement of the solvent particle across a semi-permeable membrane from a dilute solution into a concentration solution. The exchange or transport of the water in the body is the example of osmosis. Now coming to the active transport. When substances are transported against their chemical and electrical gradient requiring energy, the process is called active transport. The main types are primary active transport, carrier transport and vesicular transport. This is the example of primary active transport, that is sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium pump is responsible for the maintenance of high potassium and low sodium concentration in the cells. The enzyme sodium potassium ATPase pump 3 sodium ion from inside the cell to outside and 2 potassium ion from the outside the cell to the inside with the hydrolysis of intracellular ATP. This pump is needed for the transmission of the nerve impulses, and this pump is important for the survival of the cell. Now coming to the second transport system, that is a carrier type of transport, which involve uniport system, symport system and antiport system. As shown in the figure, uniport means single port. Okay, in this system, single molecule transported in one direction is called uniport system. Example is transportation of the glucose in the erythrocyte. Second one is a symport system. In this system, two different molecules are simultaneously transported in one direction is called a symport system. Example of transport of sodium and glucose in the intestine from the gut is the example of symport system. Next is the antiport system. In this system, two different molecules are transported in two opposite direction is known as antiport system. Examples are transportation of chloride and bicarbonate ion in the erythrocyte. The symporter system and antiporter system together known as a co-transporter system. Okay, so this is all about primary transport system, carrier transport system. Now coming to the next transport system, that is a vesicular transport or transcytosis or transport of the macromolecules. Okay, vesicles are the structure which are enclosed by a lipid bilayer and contain liquid or solid material, and these vesicles are formed during endocytosis or exocytosis process. Okay, many substances like proteins, polysaccharides, these are the macromolecules. They are transported across the cell membrane by endocytosis and exocytosis. Endo means inside, cytosis means transport of the material or cell inside the cell. The process is called endocytosis, and exocytosis means exo means outside, cytosis means transport. Okay, a release of the substances outside the cell is called exocytosis. Okay, endocytosis, there are two types of endocytosis, pinocytosis and phagocytosis. Pinocytosis means cell drinking. It describes the internalization of the extracellular fluid and small macromolecules by means of small vesicles. And phagocytosis means cell eating. It describes the ingestion of the large particles such as cell debris and whole microorganism in the large vesicles. So this is the process of endocytosis, intake of the material by formation of the vesicles. Next is the exocytosis. Exo means outside, cytosis means release of the macromolecules outside the cells. The macromolecules are transported to the plasma membrane in the form of vesicles. Example of in exocytosis is secretion of the hormones usually occur by exocytosis. Okay, these are the vesicles lipid bilayer molecules which contain the hormones, and they get externalized and released into the outside the cell. Now this is all about the basic terminologies used in the biochemistry. Thank you.